From the AM/FM 24/7 radio network, broadcasting from AM and FM stations around the country. Welcome to the Small Business Administration award-winning School for Startups Radio, where we talk all things small business and entrepreneurship. Now, here is your host, the guy that believes anyone can be a successful entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is not about creativity, risk, or passion, Jim Beach.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of School for Startups Radio. It is Wednesday, the 7th of September. I hope you're having a great day, a great week so far, and I appreciate you being with us for a few minutes today. We've got a great show. We're going to start off with Andre Stewart to talk about real estate investing, and he has built an incredible new app called Invest Far, which allows you to make some real estate quality decisions and investments all over the world in a new way. You're going to really be excited to learn about this. After that, App Bora is with us. He has an amazing career in the mining space. He is a clean mining consultant and has a new book on clean mining. I am just absolutely obsessed with the idea that we need as much energy as possible. All of the above is the answer. We need wind and solar and nuclear and coal. I hate to say it, but we need it to have a strong development and strong national security, and be in a strong position that we can go out there and grow our businesses. I don't understand how people in California can grow their business when they are having rolling brownouts all of the time. So anyway, Alp will be with us today to talk about the future of clean, green mining in the United States, what needs to be done, how it can be done, and why mining should happen here at home as opposed to somewhere else. So a great show today, and appreciate you being with us. All over, we're seeing the crazy things that are happening because of the economy. I have been a very loyal consumer of Waste Management's Bagster product. Do you know this? It is a green foldable big bag that you buy at Home Depot for $30. You bring it home, you open it up, and then it becomes a dumpster. You fill it up, and then they come with this really cool special truck that has this hook that comes out of the truck and grabs your dumpster and throws it in with all of the others, and then they drive off. It was a great product. I've used 6 or 7 times. I've used it enough to know the price point. It's $125 to get it picked up. Always has been for a decade or so. Well, all of a sudden now it's $250 to get it picked up, which is, I don't think, a bargain anymore. The thing that really irks me the most about this is they didn't tell you about this. That you, me, as a trapped, stupid consumer, buy the product, I go and do it and fill it up, and then I get online to make the appointment to have the pickup. I was not smart enough to not trust Waste Management and go, oh gosh, I should go and check and make sure they haven't doubled their price before I even buy this. You know, maybe with inflation, they've maybe had a 9% increase and it's now $135. Well, that would have been reasonable, and I could have handled that. But to jump to $250, a 100% increase, I just labeled it as a scam. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a complete break of trust with your consumers. And I'm on their mailing list. I get their emails every month. I get their coupons, and thank goodness I had a coupon, so I was able to knock the price down a little bit. Otherwise, I would have been stuck with a pile of trash in my yard that for $250, I don't know that I could have stomached to pay it. I just don't know that I would have done it, especially because in almost every neighborhood, there's someone that will drive around and pick it up for you. Maybe a high school kid or a college kid making some money on the side. In our neighborhood, we have just an industrious guy who has a trailer, and he will come around and get your trash. And I should have used him. Sorry, I didn't use you, Greg. But the Bagster is just more convenient sometimes, and it allows you to have it sitting there for a week or two as you fill it up. And with Greg, you can't really do that. He brings his trailer, you dump it, and then he takes it away. So anyway, there are other ways to do this. And for $250, I don't know that I will do that. I kind of scrolled through some of the past newsletters they've sent out, and nowhere in there did they go, sorry, by the way, sorry, we've doubled the price. They didn't do that. And then another thing, I think it's smaller than it used to be. The Bagster used to be big enough for just stuff, and now it seems a foot smaller in every direction. And when I called the company to complain, I complained about the price, and then I said, and by the way, the size, she stopped me and said, it's the same. And I was like, well, why do you seem awfully pre-programmed on this, as if you've dealt with this many times? She says, oh yeah, a lot of people have complained. Well, then a lot of people think the same thing. And she's like, it's the same size. It hasn't changed. Well, if 100 people are calling in and saying that it seems smaller, I think the chances are that it's smaller. I think the chances are pretty good of that, as a matter of fact. I don't think that 100 consumers, and these are the consumers that build things. They know what a foot looks like. They know what 5 feet looks like. They're used to how much stuff they could get into it. I just don't think that they're the type of people that are wrong. And so I am very dubious of the whole thing, and I am no longer going to be a consumer of the waste management product. That is my right to complain, to bitch, to tell you not to do it, and then I'm going to vote with my credit card and go somewhere else and pay someone else to come and get that junk from me from now on. Maybe I'll try, even more importantly, to decrease the amount of junk that I produce. That's going to be a hard thing to do with the family and all of the stuff and all of the purchases from Amazon and all the boxes that it comes in. Anyway, I will get off my soapbox and simply suggest that there are other ways to get trash. 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Their great CEO has been on the show before. I'm going to be switching. Got a great show today. Appreciate you being with us. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about multi-level marketing and meet a man who had 200,000 people below him in his pyramid. We'll be right back to get started in just a second.
Sell, 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 sell. Buy, buy, buy.
If you have any questions or comments, or if you need help with your business at any stage, from concepts to exit. Jim accepts all connections on LinkedIn. He tweets from @EntrepreneurJim, and he responds to emails at james.beach@att.net. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy the show.
We are back, and again, thank you so much for being with us. Very excited to introduce my first guest. Today we're going to talk about real estate. Please welcome to the show Andre Stewart. He started off as a banker working for the big boys, Wells Fargo, Silicon Valley, Wachovia. After that, he went off and did some real estate and became really good at it, and then has written a book, also started an online training. The book is called The Real Estate Investing Diet, Harnessing Health Strategies to Build Wealth in 90 Days. Andre Stewart, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Thank you for that introduction. I hope I can live up to that, but I'm doing well.
And you have a new app out that allows people to do the real estate managing. We'll get into that in a second. First, congratulations on the book. Tell us what Real Estate Investing Diet is all about.
Well, the Real Estate Investing Diet, it pretty much encompasses everything that you need to become a real estate investor or become a really good investor at, you could be a novice investor or you could be an experienced investor, but the book basically, I think people have a misconception of how real estate works. And so we break down your money blueprint, because a lot of times we have limiting beliefs from our childhood and our upbringing and our environment that prevent us from thinking that we can be successful in real estate. So we tackle mindset, and I give you a ton of different exit strategies for you to acquire and buy properties in any economic climate, especially for the one that we're currently in right now. The book kind of highlights specifically what you should do for the next 2 to 5 years.
Well, I got to know that. Tell me, what should we do? You can't set me up like that and then go away.
Well, the market's changing, right? We're obviously in a recession, and supposedly we're in a housing recession, and so there are going to be a lot of foreclosures coming to the market. So there are going to be a lot of properties that you can get before they get to foreclosure, which are in pre-foreclosure, and that's where you find the deals, because once they get to foreclosure, the banks will have them, and then they'll go to auction. But you can save yourself a lot of time and make a lot of more money if you are able to help that seller, before they go into foreclosure and work out a deal. So we break through strategies and marketing tips for you to be able to reach that person before they get into a situation.
You're in Florida, right? Aren't you an Orlando guy?
I'm an Orlando guy. I live in Los Angeles right now, but I go back and forth between Los Angeles and Florida.
Okay. The market, I agree with you. The market is going down really quickly, except in Florida, though. Isn't Florida still pretty strong?
You know what? I think it depends on the parts of Florida, because if you look at Orlando, and I'm talking about Orlando because that's the market that I'm interested in, over the last 3 months, home buyer demand has kind of slowed down. And so the inventory is surging in that particular market. So I think it depends on the market that you're in. But Miami, for example, you have a lot of people that are now starting to leave because it's gotten really expensive. The rent's up about 43%. Same thing with Clearwater and St. Pete area. So I think it depends on where you are in Florida, where you're going to see difference in the housing market.
Okay. And Miami would still be strong too, I assume?
Yeah, I mean, Miami is like I said, the rents are up 43%. So a lot of people are starting to migrate towards Central Florida, Orlando, Daytona, because the rents aren't as expensive. And then the housing prices didn't have a huge run up like they did in Miami, because people moved from New York, from California, they moved all to Miami. So Miami's a little bit inflated, and the prices are actually still starting to come down, maybe about 2%. And we're in the beginning stages.
I was born in Winter Park, Andre. I think that a lot of people are moving there because of that.
You know what? Hey, I love Winter Park. I lived in Orlando for 12 years, so I understand why people are trying to get to Winter Park, for sure.
All right. How do you find the pre-foreclosures then? Give us that secret. You
know what? The secret to that, this is a good tip. I even did a video on it. All you have to do really is go on Zillow, and if you go under the section where it says for sale, put in any zip code or put in any address that you want, and you're going to see a for sale section that pops up. Hit the drop down button, and then you're going to just go in there and change the filter from all the other filters that are checked. Just, uncheck those and do pre-foreclosures and hit done. And all those pre-foreclosures in that particular market will hop up. And then you just start doing your marketing to them.
All right. Well, I'm lost. How does Zillow know that they're in financial trouble, but not under foreclosure yet? I'm baffled how they would know that.
Well, Zillow has a feed that comes from the county. So it pulls from the county records. And so once it pulls into the Zillow feed, then you can just go in there and change the filter. And so then it'll give you the information on how much the person's behind on their mortgage on some particular properties. It's funny because right before we talked, I was looking at a property in California, and it shows that this person has an unpaid balance of $390,000, and that is going to auction in a month, and it gives the date and the city and the civic center or where it's being auctioned at. So Zillow gives you a lot of information just from using that one particular filter.
Okay, but so now what are you going to do to make this deal happen before that auction? How does that work?
So before, and this is a good thing that I break down in the book, I give about 5 to 10 different marketing strategies that you can use to reach out to this person, whether it be a letter. And then we also have a software that we use where you can input the person's phone number, and it'll put them on a text message drip campaign. So they'll get notifications via text message. They'll also get letters in the mail from direct mail. And then since I am pretty close to this property, as it gets closer to the auction date, I will probably go door knocking if they don't respond to any of those messages or the direct mail.
And what do you say to them when you hopefully get them on the phone? What does the pitch sound like?
Well, the pitch sounds like, hey, my name is Andre. I'm calling from this particular property solutions, and we're reaching out because we see that your property is getting ready to go into foreclosure, but we're here to help. So we want to be able to provide you with a solution so that you don't go into foreclosure and are not able to buy a property for the next 7 years. Because if you go into foreclosure, you will not be able to buy a home for 7 years. And so that's part of the, initial reach out that we do over the phone.
All right. And what percent of those will be interested?
It's funny and it's tricky because everything is a numbers game. So if you reach out to 1,000 people, you may end up having 10 people that call you back, and then you may get 4 or 5 appointments from that. So the percentage is very low. But for example, this house is worth $750,000. The person has an unpaid balance of $390,000. If we work the deal out with them, you can see there's about a $300,000 worth of equity in that property. So even if that one deal plays out of that 1,000 that we reached out to, we're still going to make a good bit of money. And that's why I think that strategy is key, because we can take over this property. Say, for instance, they haven't paid their mortgage in 12 months. The mortgage is $30,000. We only got to pay that $30,000, and we take over that mortgage. And now we have a home with $300,000 worth of equity for only $30,000 out of pocket.
And so what kind of deal do you structure with them? What's a fair deal look like for that family?
Depending on the situation. So in this particular case, they probably they obviously need their mortgage caught up. So we'll pay that. And so we'll get their credit current. So now their credit is current. Now we're repairing their credit. And so now what we will try to work out is an equity deal. We'll obviously pay off their mortgage if we sell the house. But if we keep it in place, we'll continuously pay that mortgage over time, which will help their credit. And then we'll probably find them a place to move. In addition, maybe it's another apartment, or maybe it's a house that we might have, and we'll move them in that place. And then once the property sells, we'll work out to where we pay off their mortgage and maybe give them $15,000 or $20,000, depending on what we work out with that particular person. But on the bright side, they still don't get a foreclosure on their record, and we help them by moving them into another situation. So I think it's a win-win. And then the bank doesn't have a underperforming note on their balance sheet. So it's a win for everybody.
And then what do you do with the property? What's your favorite exit strategy? I think you said that the book includes a whole bunch of exit strategies. Are you a renter, a flipper, an Airbnb-er, an Airbnb vacation? What's your exit strategy?
My exit strategy, it goes by the numbers. It's all about the numbers. So we're going to use this deal for an example. In this particular market, housing prices are very inflated and interest rates are super high. So the likelihood of us being able to sell this house right away is very slim. But what we would do, people need to rent. In recessions, renters go up. So someone will rent this property. So what we would do a round robin, and we would do a lease option where people will come out and they'll take a look at the house. And we'll do a lease option with this person to where they'll give us $10,000. We'll rent it out to them. And say, for instance, after 2 years is up, that they want to buy this house, we'll apply that $10,000 to their down payment on purchasing this house. And then we'll probably do a spread of maybe 3% interest on whatever the interest is. So then we'll make money off the interest. We'll make money off the 10% of $10,000 that they gave us. And then we'll make money off the rent. And so we'll do that process with this particular house right here.
And then are you going to wait for the market to try to sell it? Wait for the market to change, or what? No,
I mean, in this particular case, this interest rate is super low because they've been in this house for a long time. I think they've been in the house for over 25 years or so, and they just haven't paid it off or whatnot. So we would just keep this mortgage in place because the likelihood of mortgage rates coming back down to where this rate is very low. So, when the time for the rates to come back to that point, we may refinance that point. But right now, we will leave it as it is because it's a good deal.
Tell us about the app, Andre.
InvestFar Real Estate app. InvestFar Real Estate app is the first app of its kind. You can invest in real estate anywhere in the world with a push of a button. So right now, if you wanted to say buy this property that I'm talking about, I can just hit a button and have a person go out there and do a virtual inspection. They'll go out there and do the inspection, interior and exterior. But once I got that back, then I can send out a person, say, hey, I need someone to go do a contractor to go do a scope of work. I can send a contractor out there from the app. And then when it's time for me to do the closing, I can also close from the app by doing a virtual closing. So you can do all of these different things from the app. And say you're a newbie investor and you're like, oh man, I got a deal, but I don't know how to close it. We also have advisory services on the app that you can just click a button. You can do a 30-minute or an hour-long phone call with someone or a video call, and they can walk you through the deal just like I explained. And you can do this all through the app because we have video calling, we have chat messaging, we have pretty much everything you need to do due diligence on an investment property from anywhere in the world.
Wow. And what does that cost?
So, for instance, if someone wanted to do a consultation, the consultation would be, I believe it's $79 for a 30-minute consultation where we walk you through the entire deal. We even provide funding. We have an arm called Investor Capital. If you wanted to purchase this property and you didn't have the funds, we would finance that deal for you as well. So you can go on the app, hit the button, do a 30-minute consultation for $80. And if you want to do the virtual closing is $140, and then you'll be on. You obviously hop on Zoom and do the virtual closing, and you have a notary in the whole shebang.
In the book, you talk about real estate millionaire secrets. What are some of the millionaire secrets, or do you have to kill me or something if you tell me or something?
Ah, man. One of them, if I did tell you, then I probably would have to find you. But the one secret that I will give away that everyone can, I think is a good one, is visualization. I think visualization is what most millionaires and athletes do because the brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's fake, right? So when you do visualization exercises, we all have a filter in our brain called the reticular activator. And you have to program that filter for whatever it desires. Because if you ever notice how you see a car, you want to get a car, you see this car everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Until you get it. That car has always been there this entire time, but your brain wasn't filtered until you said, hey, I want to get this car. Now your brain has been filtered to do exactly what it needs to for you to acquire that car. And so once you get the car, you don't see that car as much. You see it, but not as it was before. So programming your brain through visualization is one of the main tools. Like most high performance athletes or Olympic athletes, they do these visualization exercises before they do any kind of event. It's a real huge thing with becoming successful.
Then how do I get past the limiting beliefs? So that sort of goes back to one of the first chapters in the book. How do I, if I don't believe that I can do it in the first place, visualize it?
Correct. You have to visualize yourself. You have to know without a shadow of a doubt, like, you know what, I can do this. But I think one of the best ways to erase limiting beliefs is, for one, remove yourself from the environment that you're in that kind of help get you that. Separate yourself from people that are still having those similar beliefs that you had before. But I think education and whatever it is that you're trying to do would obviously give you more confidence to be able to do what you're trying to do, because now you're like, you know what? If this person did it, I learned how they did it. It kind of removes that limiting belief that you had, like, you know what, I can't do this, or I'm too dumb, or I don't have enough money. When you realize you really don't need the money, right? You surround yourself with people who've done it or can give you, like the real estate investing guide, it gives you a bunch of different examples. And I came from poverty. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I didn't grow up, no one gave me $1 million to start my business. But what I did was I surrounded myself. I started going to free seminars. I started taking educational courses. And so it just reshaped my belief system. And then I just, be in different environments.
You talk about the book as a diet. Why is it a diet? I don't understand that reference.
Well, like anything, everyone has done some kind of diet in their life. They've had to have tried one at least, maybe they didn't finish it. But so you have the concept of a diet. The reason I break down dieting is because I work out a lot. You know what I mean? So I feel like dieting is one of the easiest ways that people can digest anything. And so in the book, I have calendars, I have a plan, I have accountability. I have all of these different things in the book that's surrounding real estate and financial literacy that will use. So you will basically be on a real estate and a financial diet by going through the same exact steps that you would on any traditional diet. You would wake up in the morning at 9, you would do this. At 2 o'clock, you would do this. At 5 o'clock, you would do this. I give you every single step that you need to do at any particular time, like you would on any diet. So it makes it super simple for you to follow.
Oh, wow. I like that. What did
Yeah,
you went to college at MIT?
I went to college at Oral Roberts University, and then again, this goes back to the additional education. Once I got done with that, and once I was working in the bank, I decided to get a real estate certification for real estate investing and development at MIT. And so that's the additional things that I decided to do to make sure that I was really equipped to do what I'm trying to do and what I'm doing right now.
I love it. Andre, it's a great story, and thank you so much for sharing some of the secrets. I love the app. I'm going to have to check that out. I haven't played with that yet, but I'm going to download and play with it. And it sounds like a huge supplement to the Zillows and all that kind of thing.
You know, what's funny? It's like the comparison is like, most of the platforms out are all for traditional real estate. There's no platform out there that's geared for real estate investors. And so it has that. It's a marketplace. We have properties in Colombia. We have properties in Lisbon, Spain. We have properties all over the US. So you can literally buy a property in another country through using the app. Oh, not to mention, it's the first app that allows you to buy properties with cryptocurrencies as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're trying to make things happen for sure.
Andre, how do we find out more? Get a copy of the book, follow you online, all that stuff, please.
I would say go to Amazon. Amazon would be the best place to get a book because you can get it in 4 hours. So realestateinvestingdiet.com is also another place where you can get the book. But again, I suggest Amazon to get it right away. And if you want more information about me, you can go to andrestewartauthor.com. And we have a free blog that has a bunch of information about real estate, including my podcast called the Investing Uncensored. And that's realestateinvestingdiet.com. And it has information on inflation, taxes, investing abroad, pretty much anything you can think of investing related for real estate.
Fantastic. Andre, thank you so much. Great stuff. And I hope you'll come back again soon.
Anytime. Thank you for having me.
And we will be right back.
Sell. Buy.
Well, that's a wonderful question, actually, Jim.
Oh my gosh, I love the opportunity to do this. Thank you, Jim.
Wow, that's a great one. You know, that is a phenomenal question.
That's a great question, and I don't have a great answer.
That's a great question.
Oh, that is such a loaded question, and that's actually a really good question.
School for Startups Radio.
We are back, and again, thank you so very much for being with us. So I am very excited about the future. I think the future is going to be tons better than the present. I think things only get better. That's the natural condition. And I am very excited for some of the cool technologies, the Tesla cars and all of that. On the other hand, the minerals for that have to come from somewhere. And we are, as a country, as a society, bashing that all of the time. I'm excited to welcome a guest today who can help us understand the mining industry better. And he is out trying to create a new, better future. Please welcome to the show, Alp Bora. You can find him at alpborainc.com. He is author of a new book called Mining is the Future. It'll be out in about a month or so. And he is the best known guy behind the greening of mining out there. Alp, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for having me, man. I'm doing very good. Very happy to be here.
Now, you have worked with all of the minerals, nickel, copper, iron, and a bunch of manganese, aluminum, and a bunch of stuff I've never even heard of. Am I right that we cannot make electric cars without you, right? You, Alp, are the key to electric cars. Am I right?
I'm the necessary evil, unfortunately. Yes, I'm the necessary evil. Jim, you're right. I did not touch all the minerals and metals out there, but I touched a bunch of them: nickel, copper, aluminum, manganese, as you mentioned. Yes.
And let me ask you this, Al. Is it better for the environment when we, America, mines stuff? Is it Do we do it cleaner than the rest of the world?
Depends what you're comparing to, but in North America, we do this better than in a lot of other countries I've seen. So, do I feel more comfortable going in a mine site in Canada or in the US versus some other parts of the world? Absolutely. Are we more safety oriented? Yes, sir. Are we more environmentally conscious? 100%. Now, there are other companies in other countries that are doing this as well, maybe better. But when you compare to, let's say, 80% of the mining companies out there, I would prefer being in a mine site in North America. Yes, sir.
Who's doing it better than us?
You see, the Australian mines, they're top-notch. The way they leverage technologies, it's unmanned operations. Basically, they removed the human risk altogether from the equation. It's difficult to compare that to, sending people underground. That's just by nature, it's more hazardous when we are facing the rock versus we send a robot.
Very much true. Is it still the situation where, is it still strip mining where they just dig massive holes down in the ground and it looks like the moon?
So this is the whole point of me talking about mining industry, right? Because I'll answer the question a little bit more complex way, Jim, if it's okay with you.
Please. We're smart. Our listeners are smart.
I'm confident about that. I started the mining industry by accident. I'm a mechanical engineer by education. I wanted to go in aerospace. I love airplanes. I studied the planes, engines. I wanted to go in aerospace. Did my studies in Montreal, finished the college. I can get a job in aerospace. Mining, they were looking for people. I said, let's do it. So this is my entrance into mining. I did not know anything about the industry, like zero. Being in the industry now for over 10, 11 years, recently I moved to Chicago from a small Canadian mining town. This sounds like a joke, but it happened again once, then it happened again, started happening again and again. I say I work in mining, they ask me if I work in cryptocurrency.
Oh, I'm sure. That's the first thing people think about.
And it's heartbreaking.
I'm sorry.
It's heartbreaking.
I had a whole bunch of crypto jokes I was going to make later. I'll have to cross cross that joke off. Can't use that joke. Oh, I'm left with no jokes now.
I thought it was like a one-off, but then it happened several times to me. Then I hear other podcasts and mining podcasts I'm listening to, and this happened to a couple other professionals. So this is not a one-off. So the whole idea about the mining in the future, let's talk about mining, started with this idea. We need mining for pretty much everything in our life. Computer, phone, building you live in, the car you drive, anything you touch. There's a famous saying now, mining professionals listen to this, they know the saying. If it's not grown, it's mined. That's our saying, right? That is true. If it's not grown, we have to mine it. Now, where it became very interesting is with this flavor of the month thing, the renewable energy technologies. Let's talk about electric vehicles, the solar panels, the wind turbines. We are really excited about these technologies because they're going to help us with decarbonize, reduce our footprint, and, transition into a clean future. That's beautiful. That's excellent. My question is, where does this raw material come from, and how are they sourced? Mining.
Well, Alp, I was seeing something about the windmills, and that the blades are made of something special, and that they are 100% non-biodegradable. I think that the blade from a windmill never will go away. Am I making this up? Did I dream this? Do you know what? Or do you know what I'm
I
talking
don't
about?
know that one. Well, I heard about it. So there are a lot of naysayers and a lot of non-believers about the renewable energy technologies. It's pretty much like anything else. Like you can take nuclear, coal, whatever technology you want, you can poke holes in it. And yes, even the electric batteries, even your beloved Tesla, there are some things they are doing that is not ideal. Now, I don't know about the case of wind turbine, but that's kind of my point as well. How clean is your renewable energy technologies if mining industry that provides these materials, raw materials to you, is not clean? If mining is not clean, can we call renewable energy clean?
I mean, that's
the
a
answer
great
is
point.
No, right? So
that's a really impossible question, and I agree with you. But the electric car people love to just assume that the electricity comes from farts and or something like that. They don't talk about where the electricity comes from, and then they tell you we're going to eliminate nuclear, and good luck. And now California.
Yeah.
California this week announced that by 2035, all of the cars sold in California have to be electric. And then the next day, the energy company said, please don't come out and charge your electric cars during the daytime because we can't afford the energy. And I'm like, come on, guys. This doesn't add up right.
No, I don't want to sound, I'm not saying this is not the right solution. I believe that our future relies on renewable energy technologies. All I'm saying is, let's keep an eye on the upstream of these technologies. Where does the raw material come from? How is it sourced? What's its carbon footprint? As I mentioned, your electric vehicle requires up to 6 times the metals and minerals they require from your regular car. So if you want to compare, and don't I don't know exact numbers, but the numbers, up to 6 times the metals and minerals. So if you want to go 100% electric vehicles, I'm all for it. It's just let's make sure that the materials we take from the ground is done in a clean, sustainable way. Otherwise, we are just pushing problem somewhere else, upstream or downstream. So with the idea of mining in the future, what I'm trying to do is I want to talk to non-mining people. Because in mining, we know what we do, we know why we do it, and our purpose. Like, not to sound too much Simon Sinek, but it's like we know why we are here. We get the raw materials to build the world as we know, and the future of the world. But my question is, to make the renewable energy really clean, let's stick upstream as well. And the best way to do this is to get the consumers, you, me, and everybody else who are not in the mining industry, let's create awareness that, hey guys, these metals, minerals come from somewhere. It's called mining. So let's improve mining industry. Let's make it greener, more sustainable. And as soon as we're going to start onboarding the consumers into this journey, it will change. It will be day and night. Suddenly, we're going to be able to put the same kind of pressure that we are putting on brands, Ford, GM of this world. They are feeling that pressure. Do you follow me, Jim? I
totally agree.
Going to Ford, I want to buy my F-150. I like my truck. I want to buy it. Now the question becomes, well, how does it? I want my car to be to cleaner. So the brands are getting this pressure from the consumers, especially with millennials and the Gen Z. I am an older millennial, so I definitely can relate to this. I am careful when I buy my product. I want it to be recyclable, ideally recycled, some sort of a sustainable manner, right? But this trend gonna go up, and the brands, the Ford, the GM, I'm just going with the automotive industry just to make a parallel, they are feeling this pressure. What I'm saying is, let's bring mining companies to that line as well.
Alp, what are some of the things that can be done to make the industry cleaner? How can it be done better?
Okay. When I get a soft drink, the first thing I do, maybe that's what you do as well, but the first thing I do is I take the Pepsi can, I turn it to check the ingredient list or the nutrition label, just to see, what I'm putting in my body, how much sugar there is. Now, this awareness about what's in that can of Pepsi give me an awareness and helps me decide, is this good for me or can I live without it? Now, let's take the same example to my F-150 example for the Ford truck, right? Let's say we are able to see that Ford is using aluminum this much and copper and the lithium. This is where they are mined, and this is how it's produced, and this is how its carbon footprint, carbon emissions throughout the process. Basically, the journey of the raw material from the mine all the way to us, the consumers. Now, imagine we have this visibility, Jim. It's going to change the way the whole industry operates, man. Like, as soon as we can see, okay, I get my cobalt, it came from DRC, and they are not being ESG compliant. Like, suddenly, we're going to be able to put pressure into the upstream, the mining industry. And I'm a mining guy. Like, I'm not saying that mining, we should close down the mines. All I'm saying is that if we want to be really sustainable, let's do it full value chain, from the mine to the manufacturer, all the way to consumer. So the solution is that I propose is that visibility of how the materials are mined, how are they sourced, their carbon emissions, and let's bring that information to the consumers so we can make informed decisions. So what's the point of this visibility, Jim? Is that we can choose the brand that uses responsibly mined and clean mining products.
Is it true that China controls almost all of the mining of the raw materials that we need for the batteries right now? How much of this is in China?
So, good portion of it in China. Like, it's scare number. And not just battery materials, but more than that. Like, I was reading an article over the weekend. Over 50% of aluminum production is coming from China. And it's not just that. I know they got coal resources. They are really, I don't want to say monopoly, but they are really a big player in pretty much all commodities. And especially electric batteries, metals. And this represents a risk for Canada and US, right? Hence, the Biden administration as well as the Canadian government declared critical minerals, and they made a list. Hey, we need these metals and minerals to ensure our transition to clean energy.
And what should the United States do to, quote unquote, fight back, Alp, and to, if we wanted to be stronger as a country and talk about competitive advantage and all the Michael Porter stuff, what should America do to respond? What are your thoughts?
The mining industry needs investment like any other industries, but mining has this terrible connotation as a bad, dirty industry. We need to improve the cash flow and money investment into the mining industries and the junior companies, and start building these mines that are required for our energy transition in-house. Your question at the beginning, are we doing this better than the rest of the world? Absolutely. But this comes with certain risks. Permitting, for example, license to operate. That's one of the main challenges. This is the top 3 challenges of the mining companies in the North America. License to operate. Can I build a mine site? That's the beauty of the mining. That's the funny part about the mining industry. We all want our electric vehicles, but we don't want to have the mine in our backyard. That's going to provide the raw materials for this. So in that sense, I believe that we need to increase the awareness of the general public. Just guys, these metal minerals, we need to have certain control on the production of this. Otherwise, our dependence on other countries are enormous. That's going to require, first of all, and improving the image of mining with everybody else. So when you say mining, you don't just think about the Snow White and the dwarf. So you don't think about the Avatar, how bad guys the mining guys are, or you don't only think about the environmental destruction, but you are saying, hey, mining is an industry that's going to help us to transition into cleaner future. So we need to improve on that imaging first. Definitely need some easing and help to streamline the permitting process to make it less uncomfortable and painful. The third one is we need investment to develop new mine sites.
But will the governments of the world let that happen? It doesn't seem like that, we have NIMBY and, we're just not going to let it happen. They don't want, they're just so hypocritical. They want the Teslas, but they don't want the mine. So how does that play out? What do you think happens in the end?
Why do you think they don't want the mine? Like, what would you mind that I start a lithium mine 20 kilometers from your place?
No, I don't want a lithium mine 20 kilometers from my house, personally. I chose to live in the city where it's pretty and we're not supposed to do stuff like that, right? So,
okay. Because it's dirty, right? It's like you worry about the air pollution, you worry about the water contamination.
Yes,
that's the challenge we are facing, man. That's the kind of it is not a candy factory. We don't, unfortunately not, but it's a heavy industry. So it comes with certain hazards. And this is a quote from the book. It's the good news, the success stories in mining, they are used as a LinkedIn post. But the bad stories, the accidents or whatever goes wrong in the mining industry get screen time in a national television, which is the reason when I say mining, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Usually the answer I get, if it's not cryptocurrency, I'm hearing environmental destruction, greedy corporations, or extreme working conditions. We need to improve on that imaging.
Are the corporations particularly greedy? Do they make an excessive profit? A company is allowed to make 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12% profit. They're even allowed to make 20% or 50% profit if they do it in certain industries. How does the mining industry overall do? How profitable an industry is it?
I can't say that mining industry's executives are greedy, and this depends on who you speak to, depend on their background story. But what I'm saying is there's a genuine interest in making it cleaner, greener, and making it sustainable for future generations. So in that sense, my experience, the people I deal with, my clients, they're not greedy. But they're not super keen about going out there and screaming, "Hey guys, I'm a copper miner. This is what I do, and this is our carbon emissions." They are more like prefer operating in the shadows.
That almost makes it even scarier.
Well, you gotta Google that, you gotta search for it. And my idea about bringing this information up front is just that. And it's not to expose anybody. I just want this information to be available so that Jim knows that mining is not just about cryptocurrency, but that your iPhone has over 20 different types of metals in it. So you'll think twice before just getting rid of it. That there's aluminum, there's copper, there's gold, there's metals in that. They come from somewhere. I just want this visibility with the general public so they start caring about these things. Do you know that aluminum can be recycled forever without losing its characteristics?
No, I didn't know that.
I work in aluminum smelter, and I learned it when I was working in aluminum smelter. Believe me, we don't, usually we used to aluminum foil for X, Y, Z reasons. Now I don't touch it anymore because I know how much work goes into making aluminum. I think twice before using aluminum foil on my at kitchen. I just want, maybe not to this extreme, but I just want people to be aware about, hey guys, metals, minerals, they come from somewhere. They have to be mined. If I can increase that awareness with general public, I'll be happy. Step by step, right?
Yeah, well, there's your Simon Sinek moment right there. So,
is it?
Yes. I'm not a big fan of Simon Alp. I think that there are some businesses that need to be started that are not supposed to save the world. Not every business has to save the world. We need some businesses that do nothing but make trash for other people to clean up, And so Simon didn't like my thoughts on that very much.
They didn't. I mean, the mining, what I said is we build the world. We build the future of the world. And my call to action to everybody else is let's just get more aware about these things. And just getting more aware of it, it's already huge step improvement from where we are right now.
Very true. Alp, how do we find out more about you, follow you online, get a copy of the book when it comes out?
So there are a couple of ways. The one-stop shop is alpborainc.com. I'm very present on LinkedIn. By all means, you guys agree with me, don't agree with me, you have any ideas to how to spread this message, by all means, send me an email on LinkedIn. The book will come out in a couple months. Next week, I'm giving a TEDx talk in Alabama about the same subject. I chose the title a little bit controversial, Jim. I think you like it. I say, why we need mining to save the environment.
I do love that. That's right in their eye. That's like putting your finger in their eye. I love that title. Where is that in Alabama? I'm not that far away. Is it in Birmingham? Florence. Okay. That's not too far. I should come watch.
Nashville. I got an extra ticket for you, man. Let me know. I'm happy to. Happy to have you there.
Oh, that's hysterical. Alp, thank you so much for being with us. I love what you're doing. I can't wait to see you on CNN fighting back. And I'd love to have you back on the show to keep us updated on what's going on.
Thanks, Jim. Take care, man.
We are out of time for today, but yes, we will be back tomorrow. Be safe, everyone. Go start a business. Take the remote and throw it away. Have a great day, everyone. Bye now.